Hello, I'm Tom Eddlem, contributor to the New American Magazine, and today I want to talk to you about lessons from the Egyptian crisis. Egypt had free elections. They had a presidential election. They had what was the equivalent of our congressional election, and yet they had a coup later. Why? They had a constitution. Well, Egypt's elections are proof of one thing. Elections alone don't bring freedom. Elections alone don't bring continuity of government. And the problem really lays at the foundation, Egypt's constitution. It didn't have really a Bill of Rights that was worth speaking of. And the first problem is probably the biggest problem, because in free countries, the legislative branch is always dominant. In the Egyptian constitution, the president, who was Mohamed Morsi of the Muslim Brotherhood, had the power to appoint a third of the upper chamber of the Egyptian parliament. The president in America does not have that power. The founding fathers, when they wrote our Constitution, gave most of the power to Congress. The longest list of power, the longest article in the Constitution is Article 1 about Congress. And they gave Congress the two main powers of government: the power of the purse, the power to spend money, and the power of the sword, the power to go to war. The president isn't given either of those powers. In fact, if the Constitution were a solar system, the legislative branch would be the sun, and the president would be the moon. Because when the legislative branch is in session, when Congress is in session, it outshines the president in power. And the president fades almost to insignificance. It's only when Congress is out of session that you see the moon. You see the powers of the president. When Congress says, okay, go to war, then you see the powers of the president. History's full of examples of the election once and dictatorship afterwards. Why? Because the executive branch is given too much power. And unfortunately today, we're moving toward that direction. President Obama and many of his predecessors, especially President Bush, basically say, I'm the sun, and Congress needs to follow me. In fact, President Obama's got to the point where he says, not only I'm the sun, but there's no such thing as a solar eclipse. One example would be in Libya. The president supported the Libyan revolution.
Today, I authorize the armed forces of the United States to begin a limited military action in Libya.
President Obama used U.S. jets and funding to overturn Muammar Gaddafi's regime. And that was a violation of both Congress's power of the sword and their power of the purse. The same thing's happening right now in Syria, with President Obama funding Syrian rebels. We're engaging in acts of war against Syria without congressional authorization. We're engaging in spending money that was not authorized by the U.S. Constitution. And it's a dangerous trend that needs to be reserved. So, for further information on the proper role of government, read more at thenewamerican.com.